Today, I'll be summarizing Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment. To start, remember what the author emphasizes in the book. Be cautious about these ideas, but don't be overly doubtful to the point where you don't try incorporating them into your daily routine. The details shared are designed for personal exploration. None of this relies on blind belief. It's all rooted in real-life experiences that you can personally uncover. So what's it all about? Enlightenment means understanding your real self. It's that moment when you realize you're connected to everything, not just a separate person in the world. It's getting past the ego. Let's be straight. It's not some magical thing reserved for monks who meditate forever. It's something that you and I might actually reach by sticking to the exercises in this book and others like it. Ready to give it a shot? Now, this might sound a bit out there, but stay open-minded. The main idea here revolves around ego identification. The ego is that part of us we think we are. The voice in our head that's always thinking and resisting what we consider unpleasant. Simple truth, the ego isn't real. It's a creation of our mind with tricky ways of sticking around. Ego identification is thinking our constant stream of thoughts is who we are. This creates a bunch of problems in our lives. Now let's dig into how the ego works. It's always on edge, fearing it'll be exposed as non-existent. So anything revealing the truth about us is a threat. The present moment is a danger zone for the ego because it doesn't exist there. When we're fully present, the ego has no space to thrive. It's just our constant thinking. So to survive, the ego slaps labels on the present, like too cold or too hot. The mind does whatever it takes to keep on thinking, even if it means judging the present instead of just experiencing it. And that takes a toll on our well-being. Stopping judgment and living in the moment without resistance brings lasting fulfillment. Try it out. Now, here's another trick the ego uses to stick around: latching on to external things. Let me throw a few examples your way. The ego grabs onto stuff like possessions, job type, social status, education level, looks, skills, personal history, beliefs, and even political stance. This isn't the whole list. You could probably list ego identifications for a lifetime. So the ego sees these things as part of itself. It struggles to let them go because it thinks losing these external things means losing a part of itself. Ever wondered why people get defensive when their beliefs are challenged? It's because the ego clings to them, and losing a belief feels like losing a piece of ourselves. This constant fear keeps the ego on edge, showing up as worry, depression, regret, unhappiness, and all of those not-so-fun feelings. Basically, the ego's way of defending itself. Want to break free? Let's figure out how to drop these ego attachments. So once we break free from the ego, a deep, lasting inner peace takes over. A peace that's always there, not relying on external situations like happiness does. It's fulfillment based solely on being fully present. Now, what are the perks of ditching the ego? It might sound too good to be true, but let me break it down. First off, problems are mind-made illusions. They don't actually exist. They're just imaginary situations projected into the future. Try this. Close your eyes and think, what problems do I have right this moment, not even a second into the future? Your mind might come up with something, but question it. Really? Is that a problem? You're breathing, right? Lucky to have human life. No true problem in the now. Enlightenment lets us live this reality. Plus, our life satisfaction goes through the roof. We live each moment to the max, experiencing deep, pure peace and a sense of wholeness. Ever buy something to fill a void and it never works? This is the solution. You feel complete because the ego doesn't need anything else to identify with. Now the big question. If you're fully present, how do you achieve anything? Do you just give up on future goals? Nope. You still plan, set goals, learn from the past. The difference is you don't live in the past or the future. No more dwelling on past situations or worrying about what might happen. Instead, you find satisfaction in the now. Another perk is letting go of resistance. You stop labeling experiences as good or bad, so you stop suffering. Pain almost disappears. For example, enlightened folks don't step outside on a winter day and complain about the cold. They just feel it. They accept it. No resistance. These aren't the only benefits, but they're some of the biggest ones. Ready to experience them? Now let's get practical. How do we break free from the ego? There are lots of ways, but here are 3, straight from the Power of Now. First, dive into complete presence. Meditation and mindfulness are your go-to tools here. Number 2, get a grip on your thoughts. Learn to control them and know when to stop thinking. And 3, surrendering, which I'll cover in a bit. Ready to give these a shot? Let's break it down. The first one is to be present. So what's this complete presence all about? Let's dive into it to feel what life is like without all those thoughts getting in the way. In a moment, close your eyes and sit still, waiting for the next thought to pop up, like a cat waiting for a mouse. Ready? Close your eyes, stay focused, and wait for that next thought. The next is cessation of thinking. So what went down? Many of you probably noticed that a thought didn't pop into your head for what felt like a good while. That in-between time, that's presence. That's you, your true self. Did you also catch that when no thoughts were around, your sense of self sort of vanished? All self-awareness took a back seat, and all that was left was being fully in the moment. Presence is when we hang out in the state of no thought for a good stretch. And when a thought does show up, we don't treat it like it's a problem. We just watch it without getting all tangled up in it. We become the observer of our mind, not the one getting caught up in it. That's how we live in presence. That's how we put the brakes on our constant stream of thinking. Ready to try this out more? Let's keep on going. The third is surrendering. Now let's talk surrendering. Surrendering means embracing the present moment just as it is without wishing it was different. Basically, letting go of inner resistance. A good place to practice this is during meditation. In Thich Nhat Hanh's book, The Miracle of Mindfulness, meditation is about following your breath and releasing everything else. The key is in letting go, dropping inner resistance, not trying to control the mind or force thoughts to stop. It's about giving up control. But here's the thing. Surrendering doesn't mean you stop taking action in life. It means external stuff doesn't mess with your inner well-being. Non-resistance lets you find fulfillment in everything you do. A lot of folks feel this deep unhappiness that pushes them to achieve big things. But here's the catch. They won't find real happiness or fulfillment with that mindset. When we surrender to reality, we get that we're already complete. What drives us is the ticking clock and the urge to make a change in the world. Deep down, we're fulfilled and content, and success is just the icing on the cake. Ready to try this mindset shift? Well, you're on your way. I hope you found this video insightful. I know we covered some deep and existential topics, but I genuinely believe this work is crucial. It's transformative, tackling the core of our emotional and well-being issues. It's not about changing external factors for a better life. It's about fixing the foundational problems so our lives rest on solid ground, finding fulfillment and happiness from within, in the present moment. The present is the only place to be happy. We often imagine a brighter future without realizing it will arrive as a present moment, likely with new dreams of another future. So if there's one thing to take away, it's that living fully in the here and now is the key to a happy life. I hope you enjoyed the summary of Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. If you're new here, hit subscribe. Until the next video, keep learning, keep creating, and always be present and be brilliant.